big league. Go. Playtime mode, this big league. Go. Playtime mode, this big league. Go. Playtime mode, this big league.
Perfect release from the top of the key. 3 step back, pull up, switch cheese.
Elbow back to me. I gotta drive my knee from here and push away. Push the ground. You wanna fuck? You pushing the ground away from me.
The reason y'all losing, you don't stick no deep. So we ain't gotta play team ball. That's key.
What's up, Cam?
What's up, Coach?
Man, I can't call it, man. Oh man, we got the GOAT in with us today, man. Cam, and ACC champion, Gatorade, North Carolina track athlete of the year, man. What's up, man? How's life treating you?
Man, it's good, man. Just enjoying life, enjoying coaching. Oh yeah.
Gotcha, man. I'm gonna jump right in, man. Like, if you had to describe in one word, going from Clemson to passports and MVP, what would that word be?
Man, fun. Yeah, I'll probably just start off with fun, honestly, just because I enjoyed it so much. I mean, it was definitely a different experience, just, going from doing it to like coaching it, just because you got to learn kind of, it's just a little different. You can't just go out there and do it for them. You kind of got to take the time to really break everything down and teach them. But it was definitely, I had a lot of fun doing it just because, it was done for me. So it's just right giving it back to them.
Gotcha. Man, let's jump in. Let's talk about the Clemson career, man. Your early days at Clemson. What drew you to Clemson after starting at Virginia Tech? Like, what made you train? Like, what say I'm gonna go leave VT to go to Clemson? What drew you to Clemson?
Oh yeah, for me, there was a lot of things. When I was at Virginia Tech, that was a decision I made on my own. But when I was there, just kind of the system, the training system, and then just kind of the environment of the school. Honestly, I just kind of it wasn't necessarily for me. And I think. It was a good on both sides that, we kind of handled it the right way. Nobody kind of felt jaded or anything like that. We just kind of figured that, hey, this may not work for me. This may not work for you. We'll go our separate ways. And when I got in the portal, I had a lot of schools reach out to me, Southern Cal, Texas, all the schools everywhere. But Clemson for me has like just always kind of been, where I wanted to go to school. My dad played football there. He actually played 81 national championship team. So, I grew up going to Clemson football games. Like, that's just something I've always been interested in. And then when the coaches reached out, they reached out to me. They, came the right way. The money, the form, training, and everything kind of just made sense, And so it just kind of became an easy decision for me. The team was nice. Everybody, got along. So it was a great decision for me.
Gotcha. Man, I didn't know that. I didn't know your dad played at Clemson football. You never told me this.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So he played the championship team.
Oh, yeah. Definitely, yeah.
Crazy. I never knew that. All the conversations you and I've had, man, you're like, I never knew that. What position did your dad play?
He played corner. Yeah.
Okay. Man, that's crazy. So now it makes sense now why Clemson's home for you. You know what I mean?
Oh, yeah, definitely. Yeah.
So how in the world did you go from picking Virginia Tech, but you got a dad that played at Clemson? Like,
so in high school, it's funny because we reached out. So like in high school, I had a lot of schools reach out to me, same thing. But like, I didn't reach out to any school because I felt like, I had ran fast enough to kind of where the coaches would reach out to me. It was funny. I had like LSU, Florida State, a lot of different schools reach out to me. And I was like, man, like I want no Clemson to kind of reach out to me. I didn't want to be the one to reach out first. But then, so getting to a point where it's like, well, I'm gonna get ready to make a decision. Let's just, hit them up and see. But I think at the time they had like no money. You know what I mean? So, and that's another thing about recruiting that, a lot of people don't understand. And, now that I'm kind of went through to understand, they had, I want to say around like 3 or 4 male sprinters at the time. So they just weren't in need for a sprinter at the moment.
Gotcha. Man, it's funny you say Clemson, they're always, I should say slow, but like I can tell you a funny story. When I was coming out of high school, I wanted to go to Clemson really bad. At the time they had Coach Bob Pollack was a coach and Ralph White was a coach and Sean Crawford, all those guys were there.
Yeah.
And Clemson like would not put nothing on the table. I saw Mississippi State. I'm gonna tell my age right now. I saw Mississippi State. We got a fax from them after I signed like 5 hours with an offer from Clemson, but it was too late.
Oh yeah, this is the way you already signed now, man.
But it worked itself out because at the time my grandma really didn't want me to be close to home, and Clemson like was 2 hours, so she wanted her being like 6+ hours away because she knew who I was at that point as a person. Like, well, you're gonna be home every weekend. Like, no, you need to go.
Oh, yeah.
So it's funny you went through the same thing with Clemson, like wanting them to pull the trigger, and you just did, man. But it worked out for you, man. So that's good. How did the transition shape you into a better athlete and a better person, you feel?
Oh man, I mean, the training definitely helped. I think it's definitely a little bit of both. You know, I think the training was really good. You know, I was getting kind of what I went there for. You know, a little bit more speed training, things of that nature, just stuff that was designed more for me from a training perspective, and so that helped me tremendously. And I think just getting my mindset better too. You know, I made that transition. You know, and just kind of I felt like I had went through a period of like, you know, in high school, I was a dog, you know, like I kind of had that good mindset. And then like, you know, my freshman year is kind of okay. You know, I had some injuries, different things going on. So it's kind of like mindset. It was like, it was there, but it was kind of like, it was calming down a little bit, you know, that confidence. And then I felt like, you know, I got it right back when I went to Clemson. You know, just the training and the preparations kind of made me have that confidence. And then just being around teammates that are competitive, you know what I mean? We were at, you know, we kind of got to it. So they were talking trash, all of that.
So do you think you had injury as a freshman because of going from? I know you was really coached really well in high school, but do you think that transition from high school to college, where the intensity might have been a little bit more? You think that you know?
Well, for me, there was just a difference of training cycles because in high school, you know, I kind of did a lot of speed endurance training. You know, obviously just all the energy systems, but you know, I kind of do towards the season, I would have a focus on a lot of speed endurance, you know, and still keep and stay in shape. But that's kind of how it looked. And then, you know, there at Virginia Tech was a little bit, you know, we wouldn't do as much top end speed, you know, as I liked, you know, per se, you know, especially with me being somebody that kind of had a lot of top end. My start wasn't horrible, but I mean, my top end was usually like my money maker. So we didn't really do as much top end work. He kind of did a lot of low intensity endurance work and then just block. So it's kind of just that like that in between, that middle phase, that like top end speed wasn't getting worked on for me. Right. And then so for me, I felt like my body when I would go to races, because I hadn't felt it in practice, I would try to go to these, you know, gears that, you know, my body had where it wasn't really recognizing.
Right. That makes sense because a lot of, you know, now it's common, you know, when I came through, like your high school coach was your typical science teacher that didn't really understand injuries, like you said, injury system and how to train. So my transition was terrible my freshman year. I mean, like I couldn't finish workouts because my body wasn't used to being that level of training. You know what I mean? So hearing you say injuries, but I know you was coached well in high school too. That's why I was asking. You know, you feel like it was a transition. So that makes sense. Yeah. So how did it feel being Gatorade, you know, track athlete of the year? Like, what do you feel like separate you to win that you know, that award?
Oh man, yeah. I mean, it was definitely my training. I mean, you know, I gotta give a shout out to my old coach, Coach Jones, man. I mean, we got to it that year. I mean, that was my senior year that I got Gatorade. So my junior year, I ran like 10-3 in the 100 and then like 21 flat. And so, I mean, at that point, I had kind of got in there to where like I was a pretty good ranked athlete in the country. I was coming back from my senior year. And I mean, me and him sat down kind of, you know, I want to say like August, kind of around this time, you know, kind of like we've been doing planning, and we just planned our season out. I mean, we didn't have necessarily an indoor team at the time, so I mean, we just planned our season out, what meets we were going to go to, how we were going to do in the training, and I mean, we had at the time they had a U20 team, they had a U20 team and a US team, but so we knew we were going to try to go for one of them, you know. So, I mean, we were just putting in the work. I mean, there wasn't a day where we weren't trying to be the number one athlete in the country, you know, so. That was just our mindset. And then when we got on the track, that's just kind of what happened.
Man, it's pretty hearing you say you're running 10-3 and 21 flat as a junior. Explain how important that junior year is going to that senior year for recruiting.
Oh, yeah, it's super important. I mean, that's your money year. Honestly, it's funny. In fact, you know, a lot of track athletes know about the New Balance meet, the Adidas track meet. I ran my 10-3 at New Balance, came back the next day, ran 21 flat again, like twice. And I didn't run 10-3. I ran like 10-3 in the prelims and the finals. Same thing with the 21 flat. I ran that in the prelims and the finals. So, you know, you had a few seniors out there, you know, had different ages, but it showed coaches that I was consistent, you know, and all the coaches were at that track meet that seen that have just won a state championship. So, I mean, your junior year is important. It's where you build your name. It's where you kind of get your times. You know, that's the year they can finally reach out to you. So, I mean, this is huge. You could almost have a good sophomore year, and then somebody else have a better junior year than you, and they're going to go with the guy that, I mean, this track is a what have you done for me lately type of sport. So
it is 100%. I mean, I've seen kids run fast as ninth graders, and you don't really hear from them again. They have all these, you know, offers. I say you don't hear from them again, and you know they just go because again, it's what have you done for me lately? You know what I mean?
Oh yeah, always, yeah.
What's your favorite race or performance while you were at Clemson? Like you're like, this hands down, this is my best performance ever, or race.
Man, I had to honestly and truly, I probably had to give it to the whole track meet. Just ACC Championship Outdoors 2023. I won ACC meet MVP that year. We won the 4x1. We won the 4x4. I won the 200, and then I came in 5th in the 100. And I ran, but it was just kind of, for me, it was just like the day, because I mean, I did all of it in the same day. I ran 10-1, 20.3, split like 46. Our 4x1 ran like 38.6, I want to say. So I mean, and this all happened in one day. So I mean, for me, that was my favorite performance. I mean, obviously the MVP kind of helped seal the deal for it. We won the ACC championship, but I mean, for me, just from like a time perspective, like knowing myself, being able to come through and like hit all those times in the same day, and come back and hit a relay split for my 4x4, my 4x1 team, and for them to win, that just kind of showed me like all the training, all the hard work was kind of paying off in that. We were in a good spot.
All right. So you went 10-1 and finished 5th.
ACC was
the winning time that year?
It was only 10 flat. It was just a really close race. I mean, it's funny. That was the year where COVID, you had a lot of COVID fifth years. Then my class was like, I think that was my junior year. So you kind of just had everybody that like the whole not just the ACC, the SEC, ACC was just extra fast that year because you had a fifth year crowd that was very talented, very fast.
Right.
And then you had everybody else still very talented, very fast. So I mean, it was just crazy.
Yeah, people don't understand, like 10 flat to 10-1. I mean, that's a blink. You know what I mean?
Man, the race was crazy. I mean, you probably wouldn't even like first place ran 10 flat, but everybody else ran like 10-1. You probably wouldn't know who came from 2nd to 5th. And in fact, I even beat another guy. I beat like 2 other guys that ran 10-1. You know what I mean? So it was close.
Whoever was on that camera, they had to be on their A game that day. On their A game.
Oh yeah, I mean that was anybody race.
Yeah, that's crazy. How to compete in the ACC against some of the best friends in the country? You know what I mean? You feel like sharpened your edge. Like how you feel like have to compete every day with those guys.
Oh yeah, I mean it's competitive. A lot of people see the SEC, and especially with the new conference alignment, it does help them that they got like Texas and Oklahoma. But the ACC is still fast. ACC always has good athletes. Like I said, that was a race where your 100, you had like 6-7 people running 10-1. I went to ACC this past year. They had a kid as a freshman running 44.3. So I mean, the ACC is competitive. I think more than anything, though, it kind of just helps you be on both sides too, just because you got kids that are good in sports, and you'll turn around and look at their classroom grades, and I mean they're like really good in the classroom as well. So it just keeps you sharp on both sides. Because I mean, one thing about the ACC is everybody's dependable. Like you're not gonna really see too many people have an off day or nothing like that. You kind of know what you're gonna get from people every time you race them. Right.
That's a good point. ACC, athletics are great, and the academic side of it is great. When you got like Clemson, VT, Duke, North Carolina.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, yeah, so that's a great point, actually. Man, sprinting, we both of us know it's a mental game. Like, what did you feel like? What did you learn about your focus and pressure while competing at the NCAAs?
Man, you got to be really strong. I'm kind of a quiet guy sometimes, but I mean, one thing you can't get mistaken is, what I'll tell you straight up right here, like what's going on in my head is not all the time, like, what's going on with how I act, I might act, I might be nice and calm, when you meet me, but honestly and truly, like in my head, like, I'm trying to beat you.
Yeah,
I don't even want it to be close. Right. I mean?
Yeah.
You gotta have that competitive edge, and I mean, just in track and field as a whole, as a sprinter. I mean, you look at the fastest guy right now. I guess you could say is like Noah Lyles.
Yeah,
he's the cockiest one too. I mean, so you I feel like me personally, you just have to have that. Like, there's no ifs, ands, buts. No. If you're gonna be a sprinter, a good one, like there's a certain confidence, a certain swag that you have to have. Because if not, I mean, you kind of you start to compete to your competition, and that's not what you want to do.
Right. It's funny. You do have to have that almost that arrogant persona about you when you're a sprinter. You know what I mean? Like, it don't have to be flash. It's just like you said, mental. Like, I'm trying to destroy you when I get out here. People,
you got Noah Lyles. He's a little bit more on the loud side, but then you got Melissa Jefferson lately.
Quiet.
She's real quiet, but man, it don't look like she get quiet on that track. She's trying to kill.
I saw it 10-6 the other day that you brought up. 10-6, crazy. Fly. I mean, with no company out there by herself, pretty much.
Oh yeah, but she don't say too much though.
No, you're right. Was there a tough race or setback that taught you more than you could ever imagine? Like, man, this taught me more than any win. Like a tough setback.
I mean, I'd definitely say some of the injuries that I had, just throughout my track and field career. The ones at my freshman year at Clemson. I had one injury at Clemson, but it wasn't nothing crazy. But I kind of had an injury, and I think from that, they were all hamstring injuries, like every single one of them, like So, but just learning that, a setback doesn't like determine your season. It doesn't determine everything, Right. That freshman year at Virginia Tech, I got hurt probably I had minor hamstring injuries a bunch. I probably had like 3 total, in one season. I still ran 10.3, still ran 20.8, So, I still got to get some good times in off, battling injuries all year, and then was able to transfer just because I was able to run those good times. Same thing at Clemson, a lot of people probably don't even know I got injured at Clemson because I came back from it so, aggressive.
Right.
I think I'll say this: learning how to come back from an injury at Virginia Tech, I will say did help when it happened at Clemson, just because I knew what to do. I got on my recovery, got on my, eating, diet. A lot of people don't know when you injured, you can still work out other parts of your body because it helps speed up the recovery process. So just every single thing, stretching, all of that, I hopped on everything, and I was able to minimize how many injuries I had, come back faster if I did.
Gotcha. I don't think I mentioned at the early part of the podcast. You used to be you was highly recruited in football too, right?
Oh yeah. I definitely had some offers in football too as well.
Do you think having that football mentality helped you on the track and with your injuries?
Oh yeah, definitely. I think one good thing about football, and I think football and track can coexist. There's no doubt in my mind it can coexist. It's just it has to be done the right way. I think football actually helped me a lot from a team aspect. You get that team aspect from football that you don't always get in track and field, but it's needed in track and field. Although track and field can seem like an individual sport, it's still a team sport. You're still competing for the team. So I think that mentality helps. And then also the lifting in football actually, helped me a lot too, just getting stronger, learning how to lift correctly, things of that nature. A lot of your football lifts, you're squatting, you're cleaning, a lot of Olympic lifting, some of the same lifting you're doing in track and field. Certain stuff is a little bit more football specific, just like certain stuff is track specific. But at the same time, it's always good to work other muscles. So,
right.
I definitely feel like it helped.
No, that's pretty cool. Let's talk life after track. When you got done Clemson, like I'm done. I want to move on, transition, and coaching the MVP. How do you know it's time to start pouring into your next generation of athletes? What made you trick like it's time for me to start transitioning and do something else?
Oh yeah, so it's funny. Part of me wanted to keep running because I had a few opportunities to keep running. I just didn't think they were the best financially. But I think for me, it was just a lot of people forget. When you kind of go to a school for free, you still get that degree if you graduate.
That's right.
For me, it was kind of like I got a degree. I'm in a good spot. It was kind of a risk reward for me, and kind of what I was already interested in. I had kind of felt myself getting pulled to coaching naturally. I had participated in a few things at the kind of coach. And I look back from back in, like I was able to get coached in high school, but then on the other side, I went my high school. I didn't coach. So I was on both sides of where I had coaching, had no coach at all. So high school today, you can have sometimes, like you said earlier in the podcast, the high school coach might be a science teacher or a teacher, I was an art teacher, that never really, they run a weekend for fun, they don't really know how to train. So, for me, it was kind of like, hey, if I can get back out there and be the difference, I might as well.
Gotcha. Cam, check your Wi-Fi.
Should be good.
It should be good. Okay. All right, gotcha. What excites you the most about, coaching an MVP? Like, what's the most exciting you feel like coaching there?
Man, the athletes, the coach. I think the coach is you, so you definitely know what you're doing. We're usually on the same page about a lot of things, and then just the athletes. A good group of kids, especially you coming up. We got a good group of kids.
Right.
Won the state championship last year, so I think now that they've seen can come, understand it now. They know what they got to do. So now they came back. I mean, from what I've seen so far, I don't want to speak too soon, but they definitely seem a little bit more focused, you know, and knowing what they have to do, and are better prepared to, you know, get ready for the season. You there?
Kim.
Yeah.
Y'all know what happened. It dropped us, but you know, it's you know, working against us right now because we're dropping all this knowledge. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah, that's all it is. Yeah.
Working against it. I've never had issues with Wi-Fi until today. This is funny. Let's see. So we was talking about like what excites you the most about MVP, and you like basically working with the athletes that we have. I mean, kind of speak on that, on how that journey was for you last year. You know, transition from, you know, being an athlete to a coach and getting athletes performing at a high level.
Man, it was definitely different. You know, it took a little bit of patience just because, you know, it's different when you come from doing it so much to, like, you know, you almost can do it. It's just second nature at this point, you know, but getting them to understand definitely took patience, but then to see it pay off, you know, to see, you know, some of the athletes that we had drop the amounts of time that they did, you know, with working with us. I mean, it was definitely rewarding, you know, seeing, you know, this example, Kiana, you know, coming from a 58. I think she opened up her first outdoor meet. She ran like 56. She got all the way down to 55. So, I mean, to see that progression, same thing with Amari, kind of getting over those hurdles, going from, what her first meet was probably, what, a 105, 104? 105. Yeah. Getting down to 101, you know, winning. All of them ended up, you know, doing well at counties and states. And then for them to get a ring, you know, it was definitely a full circle moment.
Yeah, and people don't realize, you know, everybody look back like, well, Coach Mike did. I said they don't understand how well you understand the science behind it. Like, you know, you and I was always on the same page for the program because you understood the science behind it. You know, a lot of young athletes come from college and say, I'm just going to do what we did. You know what I mean? Yeah. But you were one of the guys that didn't do that. You understood the science and the different energy system that needs to happen, I mean, for athletes to perform and for them to be at the right time. So I think that's one thing that you and I definitely hit it off with, because I know that, Cam understands it. We ain't got to, we're on the same page every single time. But I think a lot of former athletes come in like, well, that's how I did it, but not understanding the why. You know what I mean? Like, you know, how to get athletes from A to point B.
Oh yeah.
So how do you feel like, what helped you understand the science and the energy system? Like, what helped you?
Man, so when I was kind of coming through, I had Coach Jones, Coach Daniels, and then my college coach, Coach Gibson. I mean, it's funny, like, and these were my best coaches, but they all would explain to me, you know, on the back end what they were doing. So, you know, when I was in high school, my coach explained to me the energy systems. My coach, you know, I'm running for the 4-inch, for example, he explained in the first 7 seconds, that's free energy. You know, you get that back, you know, and just different things that go into it, you know, and they would have these camps and they would explain it to other people, you know, and then like I said, I would just ask questions and they would explain it to me more. I go to Clemson, you know, I got Coach Gibson, you know, I mean, I go to his office and I mean, we'll just talk track. He'll go over the whole season program with you, you know, where we're at, what we're focusing on. And so just kind of being able to, I already kind of knew it from high school, and they took the time to explain it to me, kind of transitioning into college, the same thing, you know, we're going over it, we're talking to training, we're talking about, you know, different things. And honestly, I'm able to kind of have better conversations with my college coaches because I knew it in high school, you know, asking the questions like, hey, like, you know, why do you feel like, you know, you may do wickets this day, but maybe in and outs this day, just different things that, you know, kind of their purposes and stuff like that, and understand why they do things, you know. So I think and then honestly, I did my own research as well, you know.
Right.
So, I mean, just all things combined have just helped me learn a little bit about everything, and then just definitely helped me when it comes back to giving it to them.
Yeah, definitely. What's one thing you wish young sprinters understood more about the sport of track and field?
Man, if I was to say anything specifically, man, I wish a lot of them understood the recruiting process a little bit better, honestly.
Yeah.
You know, I think one thing I've seen in South Carolina, the athletes, you know, the recruiting process, I don't think they fully understand how fast you have to be to go to college for track and field.
Right.
You know, I see some athletes with some talent and, you know, potential, but they almost feel as if they got it. And it's just like, nah, you just scratched the surface.
Yeah.
You know what
Yeah.
I mean? It's a lot that goes into, you know, being able to be a recruitable athlete, you know, on every single factor, you know, grades, being a good athlete, having a good mindset, having a good attitude. I mean, there's a
Right.
lot that goes into recruiting that. You know, they're gonna pour all this money for you
Yeah.
to go to school for free. Like they're gonna want to make sure they got somebody that they, you know, is
For
gonna
sure.
score for them and do everything.
For sure. It's funny you say that, talking about recruiting and understanding the times. I mean, you know, I remember at time 10-5 got you a full ride. 10-5 don't get you nothing anymore.
Oh yeah.
You know, yeah, in track. I mean, like,
The easiest way to do it is just go on USA. You can go on, look at any conference meet result, you know, and look at the finals and see what it would take to make the finals, you know, and see kind of what's going on in that conference. That give you a good feel of what they want, you know, and what they're looking for. You know, and they're probably looking for, I mean, if you're a sprinter, they're looking for a top, usually 5 finish a conference.
yeah.
So if you go to a meet and, you know, you look at ACCs this past year, you look at the top 5.
Yeah.
That's what they're looking for.
You know, you need to be at. You know what I mean?
You know what I mean?
Division II had faster time than NCAA nationals this year.
Oh yeah, I mean they're looking for people that can go. So I mean,
Yeah.
if you look at that and you see whatever you see, you look at your time, tell you about how much work you got to put in.
That's right. You know, you hear athletes now and they say, "Well, I run female athletes 12-2, guys, I'm 10-5," and they confident with it. Like that's great. You know what I mean? It's not slow. It's not slow. Yeah, but it's not gonna get you. If your end goal to go to school, it's not gonna get you in school. You know what I mean? Like, so
some kids at the Cleveland, they running 10-2 or better.
Yeah, so I think a lot of athletes and parents, you know, they just think, well, my kid ran 10-5, or my daughter went 11-9. Great, she's very fast, but unfortunately, it's not gonna get them in school. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Like,
they have some good grades to cover the other.
Yeah. That's right. Big picture. What do you hope your athletes take away from you, not just on the track, but in life?
Man, definitely just to work for what you want. I mean, you know, end of the day, you know, we have our plans and everything like that, but I mean, nothing that we gonna really throw at our athletes is really ever gonna be easy. I mean, we're gonna challenge our athletes usually in every way. We're gonna challenge them on the track. We're gonna challenge their mindsets. We're gonna challenge them to be leaders, which we, you know, have been doing this year. And I think more than anything, you're gonna have to work at all of those things to be good at all of them. So I think if they understand that they work for what they want, they gonna get the benefit of it, which, like again, they did last year. They put the work in. They were able to see a state championship. I think if they work a little bit more this year, they'll be able to see even more success from a national standpoint, which is what we're trying to do.
100%. It's funny you're talking about leadership. Like, you know, a lot of people don't know because, you know, Coach Cam and I put a leadership program together at MVP. So a lot of we put it as for our potential captains, but we saw something else that started brewing from it. So now we're letting everybody in the room, and we're still gonna pick 2 captains from it, but it's showing it's a 10-week program to show everybody how there's different steps to be a leader, from how to communicate, accountability, you know what I mean? Just all these different things. I think that's gonna truly help, not just on the track side, but in life. You know what I mean? They're gonna understand how, you know what I mean, how to grow as a person. You know what I mean? So, you know, big picture, I think that's gonna definitely help them. And then we're also on Thursdays, we're educating our athletes on energy systems and all those different things. So, you know, people don't realize how much goes into into the training, you know, and the science. You know, people think, you know, everybody grabs a stopwatch these days and say, I'm coaching some athletes. You know what I mean? But if the science not behind it, energy system's not behind it, you wasting people's time.
Oh yeah.
I mean, so what's your take on? You know, I'm gonna hit you with this. What's your take on these quote performance coaches now, or track coaches, all the above? You know what I mean? That's out here, you know, basically with these stopwatches and, you know, think they're coaching and training people too. What's your take on that?
Man, everybody, Chrysler 300 like a phantom until a phantom pull up. So I mean, this is one of the things where I encourage a lot of people to just do their research and homework, because I mean, everybody out here that's, you know, coaching and doing these things doesn't really know what they're doing. You know, they're whatever your kid is trying to do. I really recommend you doing your own personal research into what your kid needs, what the good coaches in that field are doing. You know, this is all sports. You know, if your kid's a DB and you're looking for a DB coach, you know, don't just pick the first DB coach you see on there doing some cool drills. You know, kind of take a look into their backgrounds, who these coaches are there, and not more importantly than anything, look at their results. You know, look at the people that they've actually trained. Sometimes people say they train somebody, they really train somebody. Look at who they actually trained under them and actually got results out of it, you know, and then that should help you kind of make your decisions. Just because, I mean, you see a lot of people out here social media is great nowadays. It's a great tool to get marketing, but you know, at the end of the day, I can show you what you want to see. I can show you a few clips of, you know, people doing something cool, you know, and try to sell you on it rather than, you know, looking at, you know, system, something that's done work with multiple people, different types of athletes, you know, it actually has results.
It's funny, you know, sometimes I think a lot of parents, and, you know, they fall into the trap of, they see somebody pushing a sled or pulling a sled, parachutes, cones all over the place. That's not development. That has nothing. That's a small piece of it. Well, you got a lot of these guys out here now that's just, you know, just running kids through quote speed drills, and they're not getting any faster. You know what I mean? They're not looking at the angles. They're not looking at all these different things. They're not looking at different energy systems, and they're not getting results. You know what I mean? But they're behind these smoke and mirrors, like you said, or they attach themselves to an athlete. Like I train this athlete. No, let's look at the whole development piece of it. So it's just funny, you know what I mean? And, you know, talking to you about it, because you're gonna, you know, you and I have our own private conversations about it. But I think sometimes parents and, you know, some coaches need to be aware of, like, you know, who you truly have in your program and are really truly helping your kids get better, and can they progressively do it? I tell people the first 2 weeks, anybody can get better. Coaching is after that 21 days. You know what I mean? Are they progressively? You know what I mean? Year by year, month by year.
And that's the other thing, like, you know, you can kind of get somebody, you know, we have a system for things, you know, I mean, we have a progression for our athletes for when they're supposed to run fast. And, you know, I can communicate that with their parents, your coach, whatever, you know, hey, these athletes, this is the system. They're supposed to run fast here, you know, I mean, we're going to be working to get you recruited here, you know, different things that we can kind of do. Whereas, you know, you kind of see online, you know, like I said, like you mentioned, maybe somebody pulling a sled. Well, you know, you can't pull a sled every practice, or else you're gonna kill the nervous system. So, you know what I mean? There has to be a plan in place where, hey, look, you know, maybe, I mean, because we pull a sled too, I mean, but it's only at certain marks where, hey, look, we're gonna do this in loading phases, you know, deload phases. You're not gonna see a sled. You're gonna see a lot more topping stuff, you know, quick stuff, you know. So it's just understanding the full process, you know, finding a coach that understands the full process so that you're getting better after the first 3 weeks.
That's right. And it's funny, it's a big difference. A lot of people go out here and try to find a trainer. I always tell you can find a trainer anywhere, but trying to find a high performance developmental coach, they come, you know what I mean? That's, you got to do your research there, but trainers are everywhere. And you just go to any part. I mean, people are on fields with sled. I see it. It's hilarious. And they just train kids. I would say, man, trainers train dogs, coaches coach people. You know what I mean? And that's the bottom line. One last thing, I'm going to let you go, man. If you can give one piece of advice to young athletes stepping onto a Clemson campus for the first time, what would it be?
Man, I'm trying to think, because I got a few athletes that possibly be going to school. So, man, just focus on yourself more than anything. You know, there's going to be, when you go to school, man, it's a lot of things going on, you know, just everywhere, you know, not just in your sport, but just in school. So you're going to have different things pulling you different directions. School and your sports, just keep the main thing and stay focused on yourself. I mean, you know, we live in a day and age now where it's easy to kind of compare yourself to other people, other things. Even within your sport, you know, you're looking at who's running fast, who's doing this and that. You'll get caught up in, you know, the wrong things doing that. Just kind of focus on yourself, focus on your lane, and, you know, you'll be pretty good if you do that.
Yeah, man. No, that's cool, Cam. Man, I'm gonna give you some rapid fire real quick. Your favorite pre-race hype song?
Man, I'll probably say 0 to 100 Drake. That will get me going.
Got it. Your dream relay team, any 3 sprinters, past or present, to run with you, 4x1.
Man, I go with my Clemson relay team, the same team, but we just actually execute at the right time, man. I mean, I think we had Gio on first leg, national champion hurdle, me on second. We had Gio on third, Haitian record holder, and then Wanye at the last leg. He was a Bahamas champion, but we were in fourth nation going into national. We didn't even make the finals.
That's crazy. Yeah, that's crazy.
So this is bad handoff stuff, man. And we just would have executed. We would have been good. So I'll take that team, but we actually execute.
Gotcha. Your go-to recovery meal?
Anything with a lot of zinc in it, red meat or something like that. Anything with a lot of zinc. Zinc help with recovery.
Gotcha. Man, Cam, man, thanks for joining us today. Tell everybody how they can connect with you on IG, Twitter, all that cool stuff.
Oh yeah, definitely. I mean, I'm Honestly, truly, I started a coaching account, but I kind of just use my own personal page now. So you can just follow me on Instagram, clt.crose. Twitter is cltcam. I'm trying to think of anything else. That's the main two platforms, honestly. So yeah, you can catch me on there. If you got any questions, feel free to ask me. You know, I mean, I'm always answering questions, and you know, just be on the lookout for some of the stuff we got coming up. I mean, we have a lot of things coming up, so y'all just stay tuned.
Yeah, it's gonna be crazy, man. We got, you know, we're working on a symposium, some camps, speed camps, track camps. We're gonna get people really what they need and what they want. So y'all just be on top of that. Cam, man, great talking to you today, man. Can't wait for this week, man. We got another big week 2 in our all season program, man. So man, enjoy your Sunday, man. Let's get to it this week.
Like, sir, sound good.
All right.